Matt, how would you propose stimulating the economy and creating jobs?
Well, first of all, there's no doubt that in America today and in the state of Ohio and in the 16th district, this ranks as the #1 concern of our residents. And the fact of the matter is, it's not the government's job to create jobs, but it is the government's role to help create a situation where companies and entrepreneurs can create the jobs that you and I can access. I think first and foremost, one of the things that we must take a look at is our corporate tax rate. If you take a look at it right now, here when you include both the state and federal corporate tax rate, you will find that America is #2, the second highest among the industrialized nations, second only to Japan. I believe our combined rate is somewhere around 39.3% or 35.3%, and Japan's is just several percent greater. That's one area that we must address. Now, some people might hear me say that, and their first response would be, the last thing you need to do is give a corporation a break. After all, they've got enough money. Well, the truth of the matter is, we may call it a corporate tax, but what does it amount to? Ultimately, it ends up being a tax on you and I, the consumer, because the corporate tax is obviously just tacked on to the product cost, and when you and I purchase it, we then pay additional amounts. So in many ways, we're paying that tax as well. I also think we have to take a look at reducing our energy costs. I'm sure one of the questions coming up will be about energy policy, but we must lessen our energy costs, in particular here in America, but also here in Northeast Ohio. As a county commissioner, I was a part of our economic development effort over the years as a commissioner. And one of the concerns that you'd often hear from companies was the high cost of doing business here in Northeast Ohio because of our energy costs. So we absolutely, I'll just throw this in now, we absolutely need to rescind cap and trade, because the last thing we need to do is see our energy costs rise here in the coming years if we're serious about creating jobs. And of course, finally, there are government programs on the books, such as the Workforce Investment Act, that do send federal dollars back to the state and local governments to train our workforce. If you've been involved in any of those programs, you'll often find that there are so many regulations attached to those monies that are returning to us from the federal government that they tie the hands of the local officials and the local entrepreneurs who want to use them to retrain or train once again, I guess, their local workforce. So those are just 3 areas where we can focus our efforts in Congress to hopefully stimulate job creation, not just here in the 16th district, but all across the state of Ohio and America.